Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to All About Healing, and it's time for Emily's Energy Corner. I just want you guys to know, if you haven't ever gone to my YouTube channel, it's pretty new, but it's emilyafrancisbooks.com. And this Energy Corner of every show, not only do we do it on the radio, but we also do it, I video the last 8-minute segment, the Energy Corner, and I upload it to my YouTube channel. So if you've ever tuned in and you've wondered, who is this person behind the voice, you can go to YouTube, emilyafrancisbooks.com, and see any of my Energy Corner segments. So I hope you do. And I also hope that you pay me a visit whenever you want and shoot me a line. So today's guest was Sandy C. Newbigging, and it was really phenomenal. He had so much information. He's the author of the book Mind Detox, and it's Discover and Resolve the Root Causes of Chronic Conditions and Persistent Problems. And as you guys know, if you've been listening to me, I believe that the body holds the wisdom and the mind holds the wisdom, and that you can approach through either avenue depending on the person. Some people really do not like to be touched. So putting hands-on therapy on someone like that is going to make them retreat and recoil, and it's not the way to get them to release. They are the people that need the talk therapy and the cognitive work. And then you have other people that really relish being touched. And maybe, sometimes as a body worker, I might be the only person that touches them in a very long time. So people will have an array of response on the table as they cry because it feels so good to be touched. And it feels so good to be touched in a way that there's nothing expected from you on the other end. It's an unconditional love touch of respect and of reverence. Everybody that's on my table, is draped appropriately. I don't go past those boundaries. I don't push people. I'm a clinical therapist. So somebody that is allowed to be in a safe space with me to talk about anything that they want to discuss without any judgment and without me repeating it. I'm not usually part of their life, so they can tell me anything they want. Now, I'm not a therapist, but I'm a body worker therapist because I really do hear, a lot of really deep reflection and secrets. And a lot of times when people have a real emotional release, when the body releases trauma, shame, guilt, fear, abandonment, all those things that have happened in their life that have settled into the tissues of the body, those memories, they stay there. And they still will always stay there, but not in the same way. So I want to talk about Sandy had a lot of really great information today. He really blew my mind, I have to tell you. I love all the guests that I've had on the show, and it's really amazing the nuggets of wisdom that you get from people. And there are certain people that just come with like the pyrite, that really golden, shiny nuggets of wisdom, and Sandy was definitely one of those people. So he made a statement that a lot of times the source of stress is that people are scared to trust life. That was definitely me. All those years that I dealt with anxiety and panic, I didn't trust life. I didn't trust me. I didn't trust me as a part of life. I felt like life was almost set up at the opposite end of me to take me down at every turn. I trusted nothing. I didn't trust my body. I didn't trust my health. I didn't trust my thoughts. It was a danger zone between my two ears. Really, the internal dialogue was just absolutely toxic. And it took everything in my life to turn it around and change the way that I dialogue. And I'm not even sure where that came from. I mean, I've definitely had my share of guilt and things, but I'm not a person who's a survivor of abuse. It's not part of my path, and I'm so grateful for that because I had a wonderful family and a wonderful childhood and upbringing, but there was always anybody that was hurtful to me. Those really deep statements became part of my own internal dialogue. And I think a lot of people do that. And not to be sexist, but a lot of little girls do that. When you make comments about their bodies or their looks, it becomes their internal dialogue of, I'm not enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not creative enough or smart enough or all these things enough. And it really takes so much effort to look at yourself, like in a mirror, and say, I'm not just enough. I'm more than enough. I am so beautiful because I'm who I am, not because of something on the outside, right? It's such a place of freedom to fall in love with yourself, to know who you are and what you're about, and bring something really beautiful and magnificent and loving into your life. And Sandy also said that when it comes to love lessons, that the biggest thing is it's not about accepting love and different things with love and love feelings. It's about giving love. And then you become part of this universal love energy all over the world. And it raises the vibration of who you are in giving love. Because it really, when I find myself being kind or generous or loving or peaceful, I'm not ever thinking, what am I getting back? And I love that. It's kind of a Buddhist philosophy of giving without an expectation of receiving. You give freely. And it really does sort of unlock a lot of things in your life when you give freely. And so whenever I offer things to people, I never think, what are you going to give me back? What do I get in return? Unless we make a boundary exchange and we talk about it. Because there is something in the Taoist tradition called guanqi, and it's an energy. So if you do something for someone, let's say not just a kindness of free gesture, but something, you give to them, or let's say you loan them something, the energy stays in the ethers, like above you, like it's this like energy thing. And then once it finally is like repaid, then the guanqi empties out. They sort of pull from that same energy the other person, or if the other person doesn't ever reciprocate, then that energy of what you did is like in the ethers above you as an energy form above. I find that interesting, and it's a beautiful and unique way, the way that we look at giving and receiving. And I just love that he talked about the love lessons, that it's in the giving of the love. He had so much wisdom, and this book was it was magnificent, and I enjoyed reading it, and I jumped at the chance to have him on the show when I saw this book. There's a quote, you've probably heard me say it before, by Tom Blue Wolf, my Native American peace elder, and it's still my favorite quote in the world, and it is that the universe will rearrange itself to accommodate your perception of reality. I'm going to say it one more time because it's so powerful. The universe will rearrange itself to accommodate your perception of reality. Sandy made a talk today that if you are willing to let go, that life will give you so much more than you can imagine. So all these tight holds and expectations into your life of what you expect to be and what you expect to do and what you expect others to do, all these tightly wound expectations, if you can step back and kind of cut some of those cords and be willing to accept life as it is meant to happen instead of what you decide it's supposed to be, that life can create the most magnificent scenario for you beyond what you have already envisioned for yourself. And it might be something very off your beaten path. Sandy now lives on a mountain in Spain. It's just amazing. And he lives near his spiritual advisor. And he's a monk. It's really just spectacular talking to him, because the idea of surrendering to things as they unfold is still really difficult for someone like me who has a long past of anxiety and panic. When you deal with anxiety and panic, you tend to be a person that likes to pretend that you're the general manager of your world, when really you have very little say. And the more that you learn to go with the flow, I always say kind of go into the skids. Go ahead and go into the skids and see where it takes you. And it might not be that you're going to slide off the road. It might actually put you in this different groove, and then your life is really cool in a different way. But when I was struggling so bad before I changed my whole life, and what I say, come back to life. I came back to life and reclaimed my life and decided to be an active participant in my life instead of watching everybody else be the narrator of my life. And now I am my own narrator, but I work with the universe instead of against it. And when things show up that aren't in my picture, for example, we're looking at moving. This was really sudden, and it's hit me a little bit hard, and I keep vacillating between, oh my gosh, I've lived in this particular area for 35 years, and all my friends are here, and this is my life, and I have all these attachments. And then I have this other side that goes, hey, you know what? You're not really moving that far away. You're going to the other side. It's, an hour, I don't know, something away, and it really is a better choice for your family, for your children. I have to go into the pragmatic approach, and then I go to the middle, and I say, you know what, you got to trust this. This is what has been offered to you. This is the situation. It's going to make your family happy, your partner happy. You're probably going to be thrilled. You don't really know. So just be a little bit more open and maybe not be so tight held to those attachments that are make believe because it hasn't even happened yet. So that's the goal. So that's Emily's Energy Corner today. You guys run back out there, get mind detox. Sandy C, Newbigging, he was amazing, and I can't wait to see you guys back here next Wednesday. Make it a great week. See you later.